because to win, you have to have a sufficient balance between actresses and assassins on your roster. To explain, college gymnastics is a heist. This is what I'm saying. You need to have people on your team who will come in to the casino in a sparkly dress, and they've suddenly got a microphone and they're singing the song and they're distracting the evil oil tycoon at the card table. But then you also need people who are going to take out his bodyguards while he's distracted by the song.
Remember, the show is PG-13, so you might hear a naughty word or two. We have a location officially for the 2027 Worlds. We have a preview of NCAA season where we pick our dream teams like we're doing a draft. We have a very academic study into NBC's meet coverage. It's December 11th, 2023, and welcome to the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. And Spencer, let us begin with the most important headlines of the day.
I think the biggest headline is that we now have a location for 2027 Worlds, which are officially going to be in Chengdu in China. Returning to China for the first time since 2014 for the World Championships. Still don't have a host for 2025, which is sooner than 2027, but I'm sure it'll all work out, right? And everything will be fine.
Right, because that's only a little more than a year away, so it's going to be fine, you guys.
Almost 2 whole years away.
Yeah, so we found out Friday during Behind the Scenes. So if you listen to Behind the Scenes and you're a Club Gym Nerd member, you found out Friday that Chinese media was reporting that they had been awarded World Championships in 2027. And if you're not aware, if you don't know anything about Chengdu, it most recently hosted the University Games.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is the seat of the giant panda breeding program, which I know that was your first question.
That was my first question,
Spencer. Yes. And CNN called it a window to ancient China. So, Chengdu, everybody. And next we have to discuss the greatest study ever conducted.
Tell me.
People might be, solving climate change and, curing cancer, but
not yet.
One of our listeners, author named Concerned Fan, has conducted an very official academic study, the title of which is Critical Analysis of the 2023 Xfinity US Championship Senior Women's Night 2. And my favorite part about this person's note about the study was the following.
Part 3 said, "In my head, we're all best friends. Jessica is my emotional support extrovert who drags me out of the house and does the talking. Spencer is my bestie who sits with 2 empty seats between each other and everyone else, maintaining space through glares and RBF and communicating with each other through a sophisticated vocabulary consisting exclusively of eye rolls."
This is 100% accurate of what it's like to sit next to Spencer. So
I would love 2 empty seats. When does that happen?
I love that this very official study was done with charts, with breakdowns and definitions, and specifically it was done on night 2 of US Championships, because that is actually the day that I feel like they finally implemented the things that women on the staff have been telling NBC for 20 years about how they should be doing stuff. And I feel like night 2 was when it was they were finally heard and they tried something slightly different. So here are some of the important things that were discovered in this very, very academic study. Let's start with number 1, Simone Watch.
Yeah, so we have a very important pie chart about Simone Watch, comparing time spent watching all gymnastics routines in the meet versus Simone looking bored. So all gymnastics routines, 47.2 minutes. Simone looking bored, 13.5 minutes.
13 whole minutes. And then the most important graph that we got in this academic study.
The most important graph, comparison of Caitlin Zhang and Simone's ankle tape. The
Yep.
winner was Simone's ankle tape, which got 2 minutes and 15 seconds of coverage, which defeated Caitlin Jong on 1 minute and 6 seconds of coverage as a person who finished in 6th.
I also appreciated that this academic wrote a list of what the author does not and does want to see in a fluff piece. So the breakdown is as follows. The author does not want to see gymnasts driving to the gym. We've seen that. We're done with that. Gymnasts pretending to work out at the gym. Gymnasts' immaculate bedroom with a wall of trophy and salad bowls. Gymnasts pretending to do schoolwork.
Yeah, that's always really good. Remember that one where, was it Lori who was like writing an essay about Julius Caesar and there were like 2 words on a Word document? And it was like, good job pretending you have to do homework, Lori.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I do love the suggestions. Would you like to read what the author does want to see in the fluff pieces?
1, candid moments like day 2 of selection camp interview where Simone was all, oh, there's no real plan, just flying by the seat of our pants, to which Cecile says, we had a plan, we just didn't tell her about it. That's the shit we want to hear if we have to hear anything. 2, Zoe and Simone's TikToks.
Obviously.
3, actually maybe just Zoe and Nola interviewing people a la UCLA. 4, hot mics on Simone, Zoe, Nola, Jordan, and Cecile.
Hot mics? Can we please get a hot mic on Simone? They'd have to have the beep button ready the whole time. But oh my God, I would love to see that so much. So yes, thank you so much for this important study. I will be passing it on to my contacts at NBC and letting them know about this. And with that, let us continue by discussing our NCAA preview. But wait, first, it's time to talk about some important things happening. First, we have a gift guide. It's Spencer's favorite sound effect. Do you guys need to know what gymnastics books are coming out? What gymnastics gifts to give yourself, your gym nerd in your life, or the little gymnast that you have in your life? We have a gift guide at GymCastic.com with all the things you can get for them. So check that out. Also, this month, Tumble Track is having a home holiday sale. Bars, mats, beams, home air floors. Oh my God, you guys, I love the air products. And if you don't want your neighbors to hate you, definitely get those. And you can get additional 5% off of orders over $4.99. Tumble Track, visit them at TUMBLTRAK. That's Tumble Track, tumbletrack.com. Train smart.
Norbert's has a sale on domino mats and mini domino cartwheel blocks. Go to norberts.net for a 10% discount on anything with the code GymCasticDecember. Norbert's is also giving away a $50 Norbert's gift card that can be used on anything in the online store with no minimum. Just follow Norbert's Athletic on Instagram, then like and comment on the giveaway post.
Good luck. NCAA preview time.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Let's
first
go.
of all, in case you missed my monologue about why you should love, extensive monologue about why you should love NCAA Gymnastics. If you're new to NCAA Gymnastics, this is my pitch. You should love NCAA and college gymnastics because season hasn't even started yet, and Maryland has a perfect full twisting double layout bar dismount from Haley Merchant. So, and also, this is the great thing about gym nerds moving around the country is Dr. Sam's like in DC now. So we have great and amazing coverage of this meet from her. So check out some highlights on her Twitter account. So what are the deets about college season?
Okay. College season begins January 5th with the very first meets. Incidentally, our college and cocktail season will also begin on January 5th. And there will be probably some meets to talk about. Hopefully, if we get some information about the Super 16 meet in Las Vegas, we'll have more information for you about like when or what or who or important questions like that. But for now, January 5th, we're starting both the season and our season of college and cocktails. To recap where we left off, Oklahoma won again. Somewhat controversially in the final. I think we had some disagreements about it. It was close against Florida, a nail biter, but Oklahoma won yet again, and that's where we're starting. That's the point at which we begin this season. Oklahoma won again and is the million-time fifth champion.
And Oklahoma's theme this year is chandeliers. I don't know if you're
Whoa.
familiar, but chandeliers.
Isn't Oklahoma's theme always chandeliers?
It's much better. I have to say, it's much better than what seems to be in vogue right now, which is just tinfoil as covering everything, like space, but pre-space travel. That's what I associate a tinfoil background with. Also, Oklahoma, I would say, I personally feel like they're unstoppable, and we will see history repeating itself. That's what I want to say about. Because this is what I want to introduce you to if you're not familiar, and I did not create this. It just exists in the world because one of our listeners said it. The reason that Florida hasn't won is because this is Spencer's favorite part. No team can win with a new coach after they've won in the past. So listen, all curses can be broken if we've learned nothing from adventure movies made for kids. It can be done. You just have to. Florida needs to do like sacrifice an alligator or something.
Is Florida, as the Gators, in favor of sacrificing an alligator, or would they want to protect the alligators because that's their spirit animal?
You know what? They do have a lot.
Is invoked in every Florida routine. Wouldn't that be bad luck for Florida to sacrifice a gator?
It's not a sacrifice if it doesn't cause you pain.
Okay.
In some kind. It has to be an actual sacrifice. It doesn't literally just mean like,
something you'd hate. Yeah, that's right. Not a sacrifice.
They do have a lot of invasive species. I believe there's a whole TV show about catching, like, what are they? Pythons or something that, because people just bring in all these random animals that shouldn't be here. Like, wasn't there another documentary that the US has more tigers than the whole rest of the world? Tigers, of course.
We'll preview LSU in a second. We're talking about Florida right now.
LSU, if you don't know about college in the United States, they have an actual tiger living at the school. It lives there. And I believe they roll it out onto a football field with thousands of people doing a football game, because what could go wrong? I don't have any thoughts on it at all.
No.
So speaking of this, coming soon, we announced on...
GymCastic will also have its own tiger. No.
Yeah. If someone can send a tiger headdress over for our cats, we will put them on. We're working on a fantasy league. We're like, let's give this a try. It will be like not just college, but elite, but we're working on it. So if you have like wants, desires, things that you don't like about how other fantasy leagues you play are, or, if you play other sports fantasy leagues and there's things that you like about them, send them over. GymCastic@gmail.com. Put fantasy league in the top. Like, do you want to make your own leagues? Do you want one big league? Do you want to be able to pick a team every week? Do you want to be able to change your lineup, just set it and leave it and not have to do it all the time? Do you want to be able to trade at any time? Do you want, and I don't know. I'm just yelling things that I've heard sports ball fact checker talk about over the years.
Good.
Because fantasy league was too much work for me to do. Also, we're working on a college power ranking that we've never done, which will be, people are going to have feelings about a college power ranking.
I'm going to have feelings about your list if our elite power ranking.
I'm going to have feelings about your lists.
Yeah,
Spencer.
but like mine are going to be based on fact and therefore sustainable.
Mine are going to be based on art. So they are the most
which is fundamentally ephemeral.
As are my feelings. Okay. Okay, hot topic number 1. Start us off.
Okay. Major discussion point heading into the season, 10.0 watch we need to talk about. Because last season we saw 84 10s scored in college gymnastics in 2023. The record is 98 from 2004. So we're getting up there. Question for this year, will we see a record? Will we see scores change in 2024? What's going to happen? Are scores going to continue to go up? Are we going to see a dip? What are your thoughts?
We are not going to okay. Caveat. If the judges enforce the or if the people in charge enforce the new stick rule, which we discussed last week, which is a half tenth off your score if you don't hold your stick position and then show that you can stand straight up and down with your arms up in the air for one whole second before letting your team tackle you or fake-a-thon a salute as you fall over. If that is actually enforced and followed, there will never be as many 10s as there were. Either the 2004 record-breaking season or when all the Olympians came in from Sydney or last year. If that's followed, there will be a defeat of the fake 10s.
Really? You think that's... Because my thought process is that the fake 10s aren't really coming from fake landings as much as they're coming from just like ignoring split positions as a concept.
Yes. Well, that's always been an issue. That's true.
But we shall see. That's what we're putting this to the test this season. And
right.
I think that's one of the really interesting things to watch, because also we have a change in rosters, which we do every year, but I think it's more dramatic this year because not only have people like Trinity Thomas graduated, but you have Jordan Childs and Kayla DiCello deferring this season to pursue the 2024 Olympics. You have Jade Carey, who said, maybe I'm competing, but maybe not all the events all the time. So you have a lot of major 10 contenders who aren't there, coupled with elites who are current elites deferring starting college for a year to maybe pursue the Olympics. So no one who competed at U.S. Nationals this past summer is starting college gymnastics this season. You have people like Leanne and Jade who competed, but they were already in college. So with that in mind, one would think we'd have fewer 10s this season.
But then again, Jordan Childs, it took her forever to get 10s last year.
That is fiction.
When did she get a 10? The first
Jordan
10.
Childs gets so many 10s.
It was like over and over. She did routines on floor that she would have gotten 10s for. And I'm not saying this doesn't happen all over the place. I'm just making a point of she got so many 9.975s and not 10s.
Yeah, her first 10 on floor came on February 11th.
Right, that's forever. And when was the next one?
The next one was on bars on March 5th.
Okay, one a month.
Bars on March 11th, and then floor on April 1st, and then bars on April 13th. That's a lot of 10s.
It took her till the end of season to get 10s on floor, which is her best event. Not arguably, but for sure her best event. So that's what I'm talking about. Floor specifically. I should have qualified my statement. Anywho.
Do you want to do this, or do you just want to say something wrong and then move on so there's no response?
Okay, go on, and then I'll make my next point.
I completely understand the UCLA team motivating themselves last season by saying, like, if we were in the SEC, that would have been a 10. If we were in the SEC, that would have been a 10. Having rivalries, having enemies, feeling aggrieved, those are all great motivators, and I get it completely. You were not scored harsher than top SEC teams.
I accept. Have we done a map study of the scores?
No.
Where there are more 10s? Anyway, the interesting thing because I don't think that this has to do with where you compete. I think this has to do with, I don't know. Well, I don't think that's really a thing. But I would like someone to prove me right or wrong. Secondly, I want to see if we are proved wrong by this theory by how many transfers there are. Like if people that got 10, say like Terasol from New Jersey, LIU, now moving to Missouri.
Mara Tatarsola?
Yes, Mara Tatarsola. If she is going to get more consistent or higher scoring or more 10s now that she has moved to Missouri.
Yes.
So I just want to see. We have so many people transferring, and there's a lot of like intra SEC transfers, but so I don't know if those will count for people to be convinced that it's not really a thing, but that's what I'm interested to see. So if you guys haven't gotten the gist of why you're an elite and you want to be into college gymnastics, the scoring is a constant. Just get some stress balls, maybe learn to box. You're going to need to get your stress out. That's why I don't pay any attention to the scores.
I see. All right. So Obviously, that's a preview of how many arguments we're going to have about scores throughout the 2024 season, because I can't keep it to myself. I can't keep it inside. Next thing I want to talk about that's been a major talking point throughout college sports, and I want to know if is it a real talking point for us? This is the final season, this 2024 gymnastics season, the final year of conferences as we know them. So the Pac-12 is just withering away and dying, except for Oregon State, who's just still there, like watering, like with a watering can, watering some dead plants at this point, just like, we're still here. But so UCLA and Washington are going to the Big Ten. So they'll be with Michigan and Michigan State and Minnesota and Iowa and all those teams. Oklahoma is going to the SEC, which is going to be its own whole thing, and it's going to be so dramatic. Other Pac-12 teams are scattering. Utah and the Arizonas are going to the Big 12, where Oklahoma is right now. It's all rearranging. Teams are going to have different schedules as a result. But what I want to know from Jessica is, should college gymnastics fans, who are gymnastics fans who also watch college gymnastics, because obviously, but don't care about other sports, does this mean anything to them/us? Is this anything? Should we care?
I think this is a nothing. Like, you're gonna still see people compete. The only thing is, if you have a school that's going to a conference that has really shitty coverage, then it matters. But otherwise, it doesn't matter. I think that there are some cases that'll matter to people, like people that care about rivalries. Like, Michigan and Utah have like 4 gymnastics teams each in the state. College teams, I think.
I thought you meant the University of Michigan and the University of Utah. I was like, they both have 3 secret teams we've never heard about before.
As a state, they have many college teams.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if you care about that stuff and they're not all in the same conference and you don't get to compete against each other all the time, like, maybe, then that matters to you. But generally, I don't think it's a big deal. And I think that people that just follow gymnastics, which is like many of us, don't realize, which is fine, and we accept that, like, don't realize that, like, everyone's talking about, long trips and how, if you have to fly across the country, it's going to take so much longer. And I'm just like, welcome to what every school that doesn't have a private jet has to do. Like, you have to drive to Oregon or Utah. Like, some bus driver or your coaches have to stay up all night and drive you. It's like 12 hours both ways. Like, this is real things that teams have to do. So, I mean, I just think of more trapped study time or nap time, which is great. But it's not awesome to have to travel that much. But the idea that, like, this is interrupting school, college gymnastics, sport, you are interrupting school constantly, and it's a problem. The problem will come if athletes are not accommodated by their schools for their travel. And I think that is one of the things that, if one school's like, no, you can't miss. Like, I know you're paying for school by competing, but you cannot miss this test, or you cannot miss this class, or whatever. Like, that's when the problem comes in. So the solution really is get a private jet.
Get a private jet. This is also, I feel like the missing school continues to matter less and less and less, because it's like, all your classes are online. What are you missing?
That's the thing. What schools are required to go to, like, I got like a degree in person, and then I got a degree that was like 75% online, my master's. And it was such a different experience. My degree was so much crap. The one that I got mostly online was a diminished experience by far of education compared to my in-person degree. So I wonder how many schools are requiring people to show up in person. And I'm not talking about security issues, like, when you have insane fans who are violent and scare the shit out of you. There's been a history of stalkers in women's gymnastics for a long time. But but anyway, can we get back to the private jets?
We need to talk about private jets a lot, because it is fascinating.
Yes.
The difference between, like, being at nationals and being like the school that showed up with the private jet versus the school that was like, well, we hitchhiked to the bus station, and then we lost half the team during hitchhiking, and then we had to find them, and then there was a snowstorm in Southern California for some reason, even though that's not supposed to happen. Or we showed up on our private jet, but then the private jet drove off the tarmac, which happened last nationals. So even when you have a private jet, sometimes travel can be an issue.
And sometimes it's an issue when you get stuck on your form of transportation, and then the private transportation company tries to deliver you apology hamburgers from McDonald's, but your coach is like, you may not accept those apology hamburgers because we need only anti-inflammatory food, and so fast food is not okay. McDonald's has got to have an anti-inflammatory salad or something, right? There has to be something that you don't want to give to your team that's full of injuries and is barely hanging on by the threads of leftover tape and ligaments, right? We're going to get people sending in their anti-inflammatory menu for for private jets that get stuck in the future. Yeah. Anywho, just bring a lot of facts, everyone.
Adding a pro to the conversation of conference changing is like, when the Pac-12 network goes bye-bye, that's great for gymnastics fans.
Thank God.
It's not only is it one fewer subscription, or one fewer add-on that you have to deal with, like what sports package do I have to add on whatever TV I'm doing. Also, Pac-12 network is the worst one in terms of not having replays of the meets, while also being the most vigilant about removing meets from YouTube that people have uploaded. Which is a lose-lose, the worst of both worlds, because no one can watch your meets again. And you have, how do the teams build on their performances if the only way you can watch them is live on the Pac-12 network?
Yes.
At like 2 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yes. We are making the move this year to YouTube TV. So we are, bye-bye cable, we're doing it because YouTube TV has DVR, so we can watch time shifted, as they call it. Watch whenever we want. So I'm very much looking forward to this, and I'm excited about it. You have to add on a bunch of Pac-12.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's one fewer thing you have to add on,
right? But I mean, we add a bunch of subscriptions, during college season, and then we get rid of them when college season is over. Like, I want Denver to join someone, so I don't have to always remember to cancel my Denver Pioneers subscription at the end of the year. Denver. Yeah, Denver, let's get it done. Anywho, so some people are very sad about this because they are like bought into the hype of like, we're the Big 12, we're the big, and like, I'm just like, I'm just like, that's dumb.
You're not a joiner in that kind of thing.
I'm not a joiner. I don't care for that. So I just want to say, I feel for you if the nostalgia of a time. This is another way you should do, though. Make some like nostalgia. I remember when ancient Pac-12. Pac-12's only been around for like 10 years anyway, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, you have to be like, I remember the Pac-8.
I remember when the Ivy League was actually an exclusive club of people in the 1800s who could have actually access education.
It's a little wordy.
Okay.
But like, there is the issue that you're potentially losing rivalries. Like, UCLA and Utah aren't going to be in the same conference. Do we still get the like UCLA and Utah hating each other, which is an important part of college gymnastics?
Yes. And that's the thing, like, it wasn't Pac whatever when it used to be only literally.
Utah only very recently joined
because it used to literally be colleges that were near the Pacific Ocean. And then Utah was like, we've got mountains, here we come.
Club Gym Nerd, you get discounts and first dibs on live show tickets, an extra whole podcast every week, athlete dossiers for major competitions, code guides, options to commission your own segments. It also makes a great gift. Check it out at gymcastic.com at the Join the Club tab. Okay, on that note of is this anything? Another discussion topic regarding NIL, name, image, and likeness compensation. The sort of, I guess, the doomsday prediction among many when it comes to NIL, in gymnastics specifically, is from those teams ranked, in the 30s, in the 40s, good teams, but they have made their recruiting strategy for their whole existence off of gymnasts who couldn't quite get a scholarship to the school that they love that's in the top 10. And then this school swoops in and is like, but you know what? We will cherish you and give you a scholarship, and you'll be a star and we'll love you, and you can go here for free, so you should come here instead. The more appealing it becomes to go to a top school without a scholarship and just walk on, but get like, we can guarantee you such and such money, is
Mm-hmm.
that going to create a wide disparity between the very top teams and everyone else?
Yes. 100%. Until there is a unified federal law about NIL and what's allowed, and all conferences and all the chancellors and the regents of all the schools are required to do the same things, this will absolutely be a problem. Because right now, you don't need, in some states, you can exceed your 12 scholarships for women's gymnastics at D1 by just being like, yeah, come here and you'll make this much in NIL.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have, 50 people on the roster if you want. That's, okay, I'm exaggerating with 50, but you know what I mean? Yes, it's going to be a big problem. And it's going to be a problem for people that are like, I've only thought as far as going to college and I have no idea what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to be in debt. Whereas opposed to people that are like, I want to have a career in computer engineering, and this is what I want to do. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a research scientist. So I don't actually care what happens in college gymnastics. I'm going to Stanford or Yale or wherever because I want the education that I'm getting there, and that's the most important thing to me. Then it's not going to matter as much, as opposed to when you're like, I could make enough money to put a down payment on a house, or in some parts of the world or states, buy a whole house and invest for my whole entire life, or make enough money in NIL that I can go to medical school for free. Okay.
Yeah.
Be a doctor with no debt. Is that a thing that happens in the United States? I've never heard of it.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. Oh, and did you hear about this? This is so exciting because we have talked about this on this very show. The NCAA president proposed, this is via NBC News, schools pay athletes directly $30K in a trust fund. And we've talked about that. Like, why not make an NIL? That's per year, obviously, because $30K is not enough. But it's like, hey, well, you have a trust. You have to graduate and actually get your education, and then you can access this money. That's what I think should happen. So it's incentivizing you to actually keep going and actually go to class and like get a minimum grade. C's equal degrees. D's are degrees. What do they say? Depends on what school you go to. Have you never heard that?
No, I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I've never seen those letters before. I never experienced any of those. It does not apply.
I never experienced them in college. I, of course, never heard that, but then heard it from athletes. But of course, you can't compete if you have D's. You have to have at least a C average at most schools. Anywho.
All right, shifting gears to the competition in college gymnastics itself. Big talking point, which you already alluded to, that you're picking Oklahoma to win in perpetuity. Why does Oklahoma always end up winning? For new fans who are like, why is it, we do this whole season and then Oklahoma wins 6 of the last 9 national championships and hasn't been lower than 3rd place in a decade. So why is it that Oklahoma always ends up winning or almost winning?
Quote, are you on your highest toe? End quote. That is why. From the iconic, I believe it was Gymnastic back in the day, mini documentary about Oklahoma. Are you on your highest toe? Details. No detail goes unnoticed at Oklahoma. Nothing. And they know how to stick a 1.5 off of anything. They probably do practice by run around the school, jump off something, and do a 1.5 and
parkouring some of your 1.5.
Yeah. Like off beam, off on their vaults, like anything. I swear they have a technique where they spot on the first half and then do a full. It's just so hard to stick forward, and they do it over and over and over and over. And like, this is the secret. They can stick, like we've talked about, magnificent rotations that should go down in history. Michigan, obviously, having beam and vault. Oh my God, right on schedule. We got Michigan emails last week when we talked about the greatest rotations of all time. But Oklahoma can have a whole rotation of vaults and stick every single one. Legitimate, actual sticks, not college sticks, which are going away. Cross your fingers. Why do you think they consistently win?
I certainly agree. I agree with everything. But to add on to it, I kind of have to go into my grand organizing theory of college gymnastics, which is that I think the teams that are successful are those who have mastered the actresses assassins continuum, because to win you have to have a sufficient balance between actresses and assassins on your roster. To explain, college gymnastics is a heist. This is what I'm saying. You need to have people on your team who will come in to the casino in a sparkly dress, and they've suddenly got a microphone and they're singing the song and they're distracting the evil oil tycoon at the card table. But then you also need people who are going to take out his bodyguards while he's distracted by the song. Like, you need both of those. And Oklahoma has mastered that balance for every Jordan Bowers. They always have an Olivia Troutman. They have their actress and they have their assassin. If you overdo it on one or the other, you're never going to win. If you have too many actresses, oh my God, they're all going to fall. And you'll have a rotation with 3 10s and 3 falls, and you'll get eliminated at regionals. If you have too many assassins, you're going to score so well all year long in conference, and then you're going to get to nationals, and it's going to be like 98.125. Nice try next year. You have to have the balance, and I think Oklahoma is the best at achieving that balance. And that's my true theory to the secret of Oklahoma's success.
I love this theory. Of course, also because the only kind of teams I like are all actresses, no assassins.
Yes.
I like Oklahoma though.
You like an assassin sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can be both, which is just Yelena Prodanova, who is both an actress and an assassin. She's the unicorn though. She's the only one who has achieved both at the same time. Or
Brooklyn Moore's Floor.
She's an actress. Brooklyn Moore's a pure actress.
But she also lights out on the floor.
Incorrect. I love her, but not correct.
Her dance kills.
Yeah.
Please keep on track. I wanted to say one more thing about the problem with NIL and it widening the gaps between teams, which I think is also true. The other thing I think it's not good about this is having like teams that have so many people on them, because you can pay everybody to come to your school regardless of scholarship numbers. People want to make a lineup, like the people that want to make a lineup and be like, I won a national championship. I'm going here because I want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are not going to want to be on a team where there's 100 people. If you just care about like getting paid, which I totally understand.
Which most people do, because money is nice. I'm surprised we haven't had more people who like maybe competed a little bit at a top team take their 5th COVID year and transfer, which we see a lot of people do, to like a D3 school where they just dominate and be like the star. We've seen a couple people we have this year, but just be like, you know what I would like to do with my 5th year? Just be like the best person in the world who everyone's obsessed with.
Yes.
I want to be the dominant star.
Yes.
I want to be Lionel Messi, and I want to go to America where everyone sucks and just be like, I'm so much better than all of you.
That's
a soccer reference.
Soccer player.
He
wears pink.
Okay.
That's all I know, because he's constantly on Apple TV. When I turn it on, I'm like, oh, stop showing me this guy. Okay, next question. Part 2.
So we've talked about why Oklahoma wins, our theories of Oklahoma's victory. Now, as by way of a preview, what does everyone else need to do to beat Oklahoma in 2024? How do this year's top teams, based on the coach's preseason poll, how can they learn from Michigan 2021, which knocked off Oklahoma, UCLA 2018, which knocked off Oklahoma? Then before that, we're going back to Florida for the last teams that beat Oklahoma. It doesn't happen that often, but what do they need to do? So starting with Florida, quite just on a broad scale, they have to find a way to replace like Trinity's scores and Kayla DiCello's and Riley McCusker, who's injured now. But how? Because that's not like a super easy thing to do, even though they have a deep and talented first-year class. I really like a lot. We saw videos have been online of some of them at their preseason hype night, and I think you saw a lot of very realistic routines from that class. The trouble is, if you're replacing Trinity in a lineup and you're a 990 gymnast, that's a downgrade. That's a loss of tenths for Florida that's trying to beat Oklahoma and win a national championship. So I think that is the biggest struggle that they're going to face.
Yep. I feel like the way they're going to have to do like the Leanne Wong system of
just
assassin.
Everyone turn into a Leanne Wong.
Yes.
Create some sort of cloning machine and everyone's just Leanne Wong and they win because everyone's Leanne Wong. I think that's a great strategy.
Impeccable execution is what I'm talking about. Absolutely perfect execution. And I feel like they have people like that. Morgan Hurd, world champion. Like, just get her to be consistent, because she can do. My God, did you see the picture of her ring leap from the freaking? I can't even. Also, Hype Night is the best name for all of these previews. It shouldn't be preview or meet the team or none of that. Hype Night. I love it. Win Lazari. They don't have built-in form deductions. Like, they can really get you those high scores. So I just think like you need to believe you are Trinity. You are Trinity. I am Trinity. Here I go. That's what they need to say before every routine.
Yeah. I am the Trinity now.
Yeah. Okay. And they have to break the curse, obviously.
Oh, obviously, if that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea.
All right.
Everyone on the team.
Yeah.
And because obviously we want to sacrifice animals. Bring something that is meaningful to you that will that you would feel some pain from losing.
Have you been watching that Ted Lasso episode again?
Oh, did they do? I feel like there was a witch show that did this too, where everyone had to bring something and hold hands and So you bring something that has, and you have to do it obviously outside at midnight and candlelight under the full moon. Everybody knows that. But don't go to the forest. It's too, and then obviously you burn the things, and this is how you.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to really have something in meaning. So you guys, I believe in you. You can break the curse. Let's do this. If nothing else, it'll make a fun story. Okay.
Moving on. Tell me about what LSU would need to do. What in your mind, like if we fast forward to April and it's like LSU beat Oklahoma and the national championship, what would have had to happen?
Okay, so they have to stay healthy.
Yeah. Number one.
So the first thing I would do is you wrap everything that touches the ground in the gym with LED like safety lights, maybe that blink, so that you can see them. Like, you can't, or like orange caution tape, but I want it to glow, so they can't. Ban all water bottles from the floor. Maybe have them tape themselves just for every day, like when you're going to class, tape your ankles. I think that might be helpful. Last year they had so many injuries. Kaya Johnson, KJ Johnson, Kai Rivers, Bryce Wilson, like everyone. And then they tied against Michigan at regionals and lost the tie, and they won the tie break.
They won the tie.
Michigan lost the tie break. LSU won it. So it was like a miracle they made it. And then they did so well when they made it. So they have such a crazy deep roster. Like, talk about teams that have so many people coming because they have the NIL money, just throw it at everybody. There is no reason that they don't have the talent to win. The question is, can they do all the other things? Like, make sure you're not celebrating and fall off a mat or any other things that could possibly cause an injury. So they've added Connor, Savannah Schoenhair from Florida is there now. I expect her to be in everything. So, and they've lost no routines from last year. They still have Finnegan, etc. So, they should be spectacular.
I would add also, because trying to come up with lineups for LSU this season is very challenging because of what you mentioned. They're super deep. Like, trying to just make a vault lineup is like, oh, you're leaving some good Yurchenko 1.5s off this lineup if everyone's healthy. But I think what LSU needs to do is don't fall into the trap of believing your own fake scores. Because to win a championship, there has to be some savvy about yes, that person got a 9-9 for this beam routine, but that back leg on those leaps is not happening. That was not a real 9-9. That I can't use to justify that person having a place in the lineup. Because if you try to put together LSU's lineups based on scores, based on their history, their past history, like you try to take a numbers approach, you come up with the most bonkers lineups that don't pass the eye test Like, obviously, I don't want, this wouldn't be the lineup and leaving these people off. That wouldn't make any sense. So it has to be who's going to score, like, who has the highest ceiling, not who necessarily even who's hitting the most and getting the scores at, like, a fakely scored meet where everyone's getting a 9-9 for everything. Like, you can't believe that.
Yeah.
You have to, like, use your own judgment in terms of, like, actually that's the prettier routine and that's going to get the higher scores when it counts.
I also think if I was them, I would do more leg days off and maybe give people, like, if you compete legs one week, the next week you don't compete legs. You compete like bars and beam. You don't do floor and vault, something like that. They needed to change some kind of strategy because they weren't all freak accidents.
We'll be right back after this.
Okay, Utah. What does Utah have to do to beat Oklahoma?
Ooh, I mean, we've got a lot. A lot's been going on with Utah. I guess I would say, like, they have to have some kind of team fresh start and make sure they're on the same page. Like, if the reaction of the alums on social media about Tom Farden is any indication, that's a team divided.
Yes.
Very divided. And, like, if that, and we don't know, like, as much, nearly as much what's happening with people who are on the roster right now, but if that same dynamic translates to people who are currently on the team, it's not going to work. Like, if the team is split between Team Tom and Team Not Tom, that kind of thing doesn't go away. So you have to make sure, like, the talent is there. Miley O'Keefe is back. Jaden Rucker is back. Abby Paulson is back. They've added some good level 10s like Ella Zerbas. Like, this is a very talented roster. But if it's, like, a mess under the surface,
it's like your fault that we ended up with losing.
Yeah, like you got Tom fired and now we're bad kind of stuff. It's gonna be a disaster. They're gonna fall all over the place.
Yeah. So you're saying emotional reunification
is paramount.
Yes, I agree. UCLA.
Oh, get some damn vaults on your team.
It's Nia Reed. Just put Nia Reed up for every
4 times.
The whole rotation.
Yeah.
Put Nia Reed up. Nia Reed transferred from Florida after taking a year off. So she looks great.
Seriously, like, last year's team, bars, beam, and floor, at least, you're making the national championship day, the Final Four. If you add a lineup of all 10-0 starts on vault, it's a championship contending team. But do they have, Nia Reed is great on vault to come in and do what Jordan Childs, give you the score that you're missing from Jordan Childs. But you need, I think, more than that on vault. But
and you have to stick. It's not enough anymore to do. You can't do a 9.85 average. What did we determine now? You need a 9.95 average to make the Final Four, or 9.9 average?
Not 9.95, but yeah.
9.9 average?
A 9.9. Every routine 9.9 is a 198. It takes more than a 198 to win. So you can't have people in the lineup who you aren't sure they're going to go 9.9 in any lineup ever.
Period.
At this point. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to basically do stick drills for vault constantly in their sleep, do the Suzanne Yochlin and cut out little vaults or little stuck gymnasts and put it under your pillows. That's a real story, everybody. Yes. Oh, college gymnastics. See, this kind of stuff is what we love.
Mm-hmm. I'm also just generally interested to see what is the team dynamic when Jordan Childs is not there. Because we had, last year, transition year, improved results, where it's a new team, it's a new coaching staff, except BJ, who was there before. But it's, a new dynamic, a new environment. What is the team identity? You're kind of figuring that out. I felt like last year it was Jordan Childs, the Jordan Childs dance party. Jordan Childs is here and we're having fun and it's a party and I'm Jordan Childs and this is my personality. And I'm going to, of course, bring that in college gymnastics. When she's not there, what is the team? What is this UCLA team's identity now?
I think sometimes when you have someone who is like, shines with a lot of attention, it can help a team bond more when there isn't that person. And I'm saying that as a person who loves Jordan Childs and all of her antics. Like,
that's not like a criticism.
That's not a criticism. I'm just saying, like, sometimes it helps the team like bond when there isn't an outlier kind of a thing. So, and I'm totally against that, and I feel like everyone should be an outlier, and this is why event finals is the best thing ever. But I'm just saying, it can change a dynamic for the better sometimes. So it's going to be interesting about what happens, and they got some big recruits coming in later too. So we'll see. Michigan.
So what I think we need to see from Michigan is some of the newer gymnasts have to break into lineups. Like they need a youth movement because almost every routine on this team is coming from a 5th year or a senior. Like if you project out those lineups, like all of their best routines are 5th years and seniors, and they're wonderful routines, even without Natalie Wojcik and Abby Heiskell anymore. I really enjoyed Jenna Mulligan at their preview. I thought she stepped up with the Yurchenko 1.5 and a pretty beam routine, but she's also a senior. And they're, going to rely on Reina Gugino a little bit more. She's also a senior. And I think that that's ultimately untenable. Yeah. You can't have almost no contribution from those younger classes.
Yeah, I agree because they still have like Sierra Brooks and Gabby Wilson and Morrison and all like who are average 9.9s. Like their average are 9.9s, you guys, above 9.9s.
Yeah.
Like 9.3s, 9.2s. That's their average scores. They're so good. I mean, this team absolutely deserved to be at nationals last year. It was so sad that they did not make it, that they lost that tie. But every score counts. And this is the thing. Every score counts. So you can't have any weaknesses. So they've got to have the newbies step up because they can't do this team of 5th years isn't going to get more time. The clock is up. So they need to get people ready to step into those spots. But my God, I mean, the thing about Michigan, you guys, the tumbling, it's ridiculous. And honestly, I don't know how they manage their tumbling because they're starting like it's the end of season already, which is another thing that I'm just like, do you guys need to like take it down a notch? Like, let's rest. Like, don't use your legs at all. No ankles. Only do your tumbling.
Make sure Gabby Wilson can do floor at nationals and regionals this year. Yeah.
Save her ankles. Like, I would change. I think I would just like really make sure because, 5th year doing this kind of tumbling with a lifetime of gymnastics, it's a lot. So I would make them just do underwater floor routines until you need those regional scores. I'm sure someone's invented that. Also, didn't all of us do our entire floor routines underwater as kids and maybe still now? Spencer.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's so easy to spot your landings underwater. Okay. Cal.
Yeah, I would say Cal needs, going back to my overarching college gymnastics strategy, I think Cal needs some more assassins. Like, you watch those bars and beam rotations last year, and I'm like, I have no notes. But they need more, like, MJs. They've got MJ Frazier, and that's very important.
Yes.
Maybe that's my best example of, like, the actresses assassins continuum is the Frazier family, because you've got Mars, the actress, and MJ, the assassin.
Yes.
And they're, like, the examples of the continuum. But, yeah.
MJ, the quiet assassin, the ninja crawling over the roof. To get all the scores.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
there's a ninja parade.
I mean, that does not remotely surprise me.
I don't know where it is. I can't remember, but I saw a story about this. But, no one's ever, it's ninjas. So no one's ever actually seen anyone in the ninja parade.
Oh, okay.
Because they're ninjas. So I'm obsessed with this. And I think it's the best thing ever. Anyway, guys, I just wanted you to know there's a ninja parade.
Do you have more? What are your thoughts on Cal and what they need?
Cal, the thing about Cal is they're so beautiful. Their gymnastics is so perfect. And I feel like they need a ruthlessness somewhere. And I don't know where the ruthlessness comes from because they're not doing anything that they shouldn't be doing there. And I don't want them to like break rules or anything. I feel like they need like one of the coaches to be like the bad cop and maybe wear more leather and intimidate the judges or something. I'm not sure what. I just feel like I would like going on record that she would like Justin Howell to dress entirely in leather for the entirety of the 2024 gymnastics season. I think that's what I'm taking from this episode. Maybe one of those little harnesses, just go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I just, they're sort of like my Bolshoi ballet team. They are that level of gorgeous gymnastics, just beautiful to watch. But somehow I feel like they need more of like the college, like we're gonna murder you part, which I guess is the assassin thing that you're talking about. But I'm trying to think of how they can do that without ruining their perfect
how we can talk about this idea without invoking murder, which I was also having trouble with, and I was like, I'm just gonna commit. I'm just gonna go with it.
Like, do they need one of those like Suzanne versus Sarah old Georgia Alabama rivalry things? Like, do they need?
That's the problem. It's like you can't do that with Tabitha though. Cal and Stanford. It's wonderful. It doesn't work.
No, everybody likes each other. They respect each other. Everybody's like, you're great. No, you're great. And it's genuine. This is the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get some fire going on there.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Alabama?
Oh, this is an idea. Fact Checker has a sports ball idea. Just declare themselves as the rival to Oklahoma.
Yeah, build that.
It's totally out of their character, or at least someone should. Like, we can announce it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like official rivalry.
Cross mountain rivalry.
We need like
Oklahoma Cal.
The Cal coaching staff needs to like release a press release that says like our beam is prettier than Oklahoma's.
Oh, and like smash a chandelier.
Yeah.
Or like have smash chandelier nuggets under the beam. You know those distraction beam routines that people do where like wave pool noodles and lie under the beam and yell? Just smash chandeliers during a Cal beam routine and be like, Oklahoma, are you ready? Yes. It's so out of character to be mean in any way. They would never do this, but I love it.
They should really consider it. Yeah.
Just for fun. And then make it ice, not real.
Obviously, you don't want people falling off of beam onto shards of glass. You don't want that.
Use that, what is it, sugar glass that they use to jump through like stunt people? Dude, yeah. Anyway, guys, marketing, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah. I would say, for me, I would like to see Alabama's approach this year because I think they can be, Alabama's never an underdog because they're Alabama, but they kind of are right now. But they're a really talented team. I would like to see them let the artists work, I guess, on the team. Like, should be such a good execution team. Like Luisa Blanco and some of these new freshmen, and then you've got Hudson and Gladio. It's just like such a good team because we talked about LaCourciere and Sears coming in. Let that stand, which is not really Alabama's typical identity as a team. Like, they've never been the like execution, like Soviet style team.
Yeah.
Their identity was like the like whole Sarah and Suzanne thing. Like Suzanne was the bad guy and Alabama was like the cotillion team.
The Southern Bells.
The Southern Bells. Yeah. Which is like, it's so dated and so over now. But like, I would like to see Alabama embrace its identity, an identity closer to an Oklahoma or a Cal in terms of their style of gymnastics, because that's what the personnel is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is still a very new coaching staff. This is still like second season. There's time to build this stuff. There's time to see where this team is going. And that's kind of where I think Alabama needs to go.
Yeah. I feel like their signature has always been conditioning. We never look tired. We can do everything. And I feel like, they need like a pizzazz statement. And I like this idea because they definitely have those people. All right. Part 3. We are going to do our preseason All-Star Team.
Yes.
This is like if we were picking a team.
We're the coaches of the college gymnastics team for Earth.
Yes.
Or for the United States of America, because it's just college.
No, teams. Earth is better. Let's be. When you can lean in. You know what they say.
We're the coaches of Earth. We get everyone as our roster.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to make a lineup of 6. We can use any gymnast on any team to make out our lineups. And it's one lineup because we're on the same coaching staff and we have to find a way to do that without killing each other, which is obviously impossible.
Right. Easy.
But yeah, so I'm going to start us off with Vault because we've put together our team. This is what it is. We're presenting it now. These are the individuals who are most important in college gymnastics. I have leading off our vault lineup, I'm leading off with Jade Carey and her Yurchenko double full. As long as she's competing vault and that's available. So, she maybe isn't, and in which case we're replacing her with Kaya Johnson's Yurchenko double full. That's the switch that we're doing if necessary. Strategy-wise being that double full is so easy for Jade. She hits it every time and either sticks it or has a little boop. And there's maybe a little bit of knees. You can take some things. It's not anchoring the lineup, but it's leading off. The judges are so impressed by the difficulty and how easy it is for her and how much she has control of the landing. They're still giving it like a 995 or a pretty high score. And then that sets up everyone else in the lineup who has maybe a little bit more extended legs, and they're all getting 10s.
Yep. I like this strategy. All right. We agree. No assassination needed so far. All right. For me, number 2, Suki Pfister from Ball State.
Yes.
Cannot talk about her vault enough. No. Her handspring front pike half. It's so perfect, so high. Her knees are so straight. Because when people do a pike, how their knees are bent sometimes and they can't really do a pike. Not her. Suki Pfister is my vault planet champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, conferences don't matter. We're selecting a team for the planet. So
I wanted to know whether you thought we should have more variety in terms, like, should we have 6 different vaults or can we do repeats? Because we're obviously we're going to have.
Because aren't enough people incentivized to do different vaults, and they haven't trained them in their youths.
Yeah. And we're trying to win, you guys. We're trying to win a national championship here, or we're trying to win a galactic championship here. And if we're coaching Earth's team, we got to think about who's going to win. Speaking of which, third up on vault, Selena Harris, UCLA.
Yes, absolutely.
1.5.
Yes.
Such good form. She's starting at the end of the last season. The sticks were coming, and I'm like, oh, it's gone now. It's over now. She's ready. She's ready for the lineup. She's ready for the galactic lineup.
Yes. It's perfect. I accept. Yeah. Okay. Kat Lavasser, Oklahoma. Obviously, we're going to have an Oklahoma gymnast vaulting. Hello. Because Kat Lavasser is the one that has an artistic, stuck, clean Yurchenko 1.5. This is why I always say, if you want to see the most consistent, beautiful vault rotation, watch college gymnastics. It's better than a vault final at the elite level. By far.
Certainly in terms of sticking.
In terms of sticking, in terms
and
of
execution.
Form. Yeah. If you just want to see big Ds, then elite. But if you want to see beautiful vaults that are like artistic because they're so pretty and high and have airtime and are open hips. Kat Lavasser. I mean, there should be a chandelier that descends over the vault when she goes because it's art.
Yeah.
Oh, am I getting the whole theme of chandeliers now? Did I just understand it in this moment?
I think you just did it. 5th up on vault, Sierra Brooks. Because she's my go-to. There are a lot of beautiful Yurchenko 1.5s in college gymnastics, but if you're like, you have one Yurchenko 1.5 for your life, who are you picking? I'm picking Sierra Brooks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, but that's who I'm picking.
Someone who can stick and has good form consistently. The Michigan 5th year, who's been doing it over and over and over and as a national champion. Yes. Sierra Brooks. So number 6 in our lineup.
Anchor.
Obviously. There's no one else that can do this.
No one else.
Haley Bryant from LSU.
Yeah.
Her handspring pike front half.
She's going to win us the galactic championship.
Right.
With that vault.
Yeah. I'm going to rotate her and give her a rest every week. Or just have her not walk except when she's doing gymnastics. That might be the other thing that I do. Just have her carried on a litter to class and back, wherever she needs to go.
Because we should say, it's a long season. There's a lot of travel between galaxies. Like that takes a lot out of a team. Like it's really hard to get all your homework done on the shuttle. Like it's a thing. So we're going to have to rest some people.
Well, sometimes you have to be put in the, galactic sleep chamber. So it's not like you can do, homework.
Like, how are you supposed to write an essay if you're in cryo sleep? These are the important questions we're asking on the show. So when we're resting some people in these lineups, do we have who's coming into the line?
So Jocelyn Moore from Missouri. Clean, consistent, done so many vaults that 1.5, Yurchenko 1.5, so it should be a 10. So Jocelyn Moore, amplitude. It looks like, what Haley Bryant brings to her handspring front pike half Jocelyn Moore brings to, it's almost EB-esque in the height, airtime, slow motion. Like, it's someone that you're like, oh, you could do an Almanar anytime in your sleep, but you're doing a Yurchenko 1.5 that is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's just so pretty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's my Bolshoi of the vault.
Excellent. All right, so I'm happy with our vault lineup.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with our vault lineup. Bars. We're starting off with freshman Chloe LeCourcier at Alabama. We're very wary of putting freshmen in the lineup right away because we have so many people and, you know, they haven't proven themselves yet. We haven't seen anything, but just we're going with it for potential.
Yeah. She is our Ukrainian bar worker. We now have 2. We have Audrey Davis from Oklahoma, who's obviously
spoiler alert,
our anchor. And then we have Chloe LeCourcier at Alabama. Like, if she's not in every bar lineup for Alabama this year, something's wrong.
Yeah,
something's wrong. Like, we must see her.
Yeah.
So you chose her. I'm choosing for my just like clean, consistent. Doesn't have to do a giant Alabama full and dismount. Mara Chitrasole, now at Missouri.
Yes.
Who is
previously at Long Island.
So clean.
Got a 10 at Long Island.
Yes. From the Netherlands, right?
Yes.
That's so clean. Like, she does a double back and you're like, oh, that double back was so pretty. How many times do you think that about a double back, you guys? Normally you're like, oh God, put that away. Just do something harder if you're going to have that form. Yeah. It's so pretty. You're like, oh, this can be art. Bars can be art. Mara.
Mm-hmm.
Third.
I'm putting up Andy Lee at Cal.
Yeah.
Cal lineup is another one of those where it's just like, I know what the composition is going to be. I know what the amplitude is going to be. It's going to be hit. The handstands are going to be hit. The pirouettes are going to be hit. The landing's probably going to be stuck. This is your clean, like, what do you take?
Yeah.
Maybe that's our strategy for Cal, being assassins. Just scream, what do you take at the end of every routine?
Yes.
And then the judges will feel like so much like social peer pressure to be like, wait, should I not take anything? Then they just won't take anything.
I think that's good. We can get all the fans to scream that. Or should they employ, was it Jocelyn Moore last year who stuck her bar dismount and then looked back over her shoulder at the judges and was like, did you see that? Are you all right? Got it? And then stood up, like in her squatted position, looked over her shoulder. So maybe that's what they need to do every time. Excuse me? Yes. Okay. So next up, obviously, Jordan Bowers.
Yes, obviously.
Oklahoma. Like, yeah. She brings like, she is the assassin of the team and brings the like, does power bars that also float. Like, she probably has to try not to swing at all to control her releases because she just has it. Like, she is just a fast twitch human being. And it's just, and everything she does is fantastic form.
Fifth up, we're putting up Leanne Wong, obviously.
Yeah.
This season, also, I feel like she is now the star of Florida's bars lineup. She's going to get a 10 every time she sticks. That's just like what's going to happen with Leanne this season. But
especially when she screams, I am Trinity, and then mounts the bar.
She can scream, I am Leanne. It's fine. I feel on this team, we've made the conscious decision because Leanne has been going nonstop this entire Olympic cycle and is preparing for the Olympics. We didn't want to overburden Leanne or overuse her, but we really want her on bars every single week. So she's in that bars lineup, but I feel like some of the other galaxies don't necessarily understand why we, the Earth team, value the Olympics so much, but like it's a big deal to us. So we want to respect her choice to go with that and support her in that and allow her to rest as much as possible.
Yes. And then, of course, as I said, anchoring the lineup, Audrey Davis, longtime Ukrainian bars worker at Oklahoma. And like, this is, if you want to know why Oklahoma's so good, they have at least 2 gymnasts on our entire list. I think maybe Floor of our list only has 1 of them, but like, they're so good at everything because their details are so amazing and everything. Okay, so if any of them can't go, I would put baby Nastia Lily Smith from Georgia up. Yeah.
I would maybe consider another Georgia gymnast, Jeffrey Scott, who
Oh,
we just saw. I mean, the scoring at Georgia's inter-squad was like that, not real, but it was like, what are we doing? But it was she got a 10 but it was a beautiful bars routine, and I loved watching.
Yeah.
So.
And Jeffrey Scott, another one I've been obsessed with for like
Forever.
10 years. Also, Georgia, if you're a visual listener, we're showing their latest. You can zoom in on that. They are now featuring. They're in the clouds when they do their marketing, and they now are featuring jet fighters. Are those F-15s maybe in their promotional materials? So yeah, obviously, when I think of beautiful gymnastics, I think of jet fighters. So this is another thing about college gymnastics. It's really weird with stuff like this. So, okay, beam.
Yes. Impossible.
No,
this is our deepest event.
This
it's
is why
impossible to make.
I was just like, if I really do this, my beam list would be 700 gymnasts long because there's so many beautiful.
This is why we're on a coaching staff together.
I know, because you can just be like, no,
I'm going to rein this in and just be like, no, we're leading off with Reagan Smith.
Yes.
She's going to hit every single time. She's going to be perfect. She's going to stick that gainer full. She's going to do her beautiful jump combination. That's just like perfect every single time. And she's going to start us off on a great note. And I wouldn't trust anyone more in that position.
Yes. She did it last year. She's done
she doesn't lead off for Oklahoma, but she's leading off for.
Right. She anchors for Oklahoma. Like when it's like, you have to get a 10 on this routine or you won't win, or we won't win. And she sticks it. And then she leaps into KJ's arms and it's iconic. And Reagan Smith. Okay. Maya Luzon from Cal is my number 2.
Yeah.
Beautiful beam. She is someone who should shout, what are you going to take? Or before she mounts the beam, just be like, throw your pencils away and then mount the beam.
I would love that if that happened.
Yes. Or that's what the crowd should yell. Throw your pencils. I don't know.
Maybe just pencils down.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Her beam is art.
Yes.
Art. But also Reagan Smith gets in there because Oklahoma has weird ass choreography that I love. It's avant-garde, strange, creative, different. It makes you be like, oh, that's why they do dance in between the flips, where you watch Elite and you're like, why are they doing things in between the flips? With most gymnasts. I'm not talking about the Thoras and the Sonavavers of the world, but all right, who's your third up?
I'm putting Jordan Bowers up third.
She made 2 lineups. I mean, this is the thing. I've been saying, I
would have her up on all 4s. Jordan Bowers.
I know. I'm like, why isn't Jordan Bowers national champion yet? Every year, I'm like, Jordan Bowers. She's arrived in college. She's going to be the all-around champion every year. I don't know what the problem is. I'm still like, why didn't she win?
We've been obviously beautiful execution. We as a coaching staff have been really happy with her progress that she's shown in terms of being a confident beam worker and not just a beautiful beam worker, but a reliable, she's going to hit every time. We've now found that she's doing both at the same time. So we're really happy with her in that third position.
I am telling her that if she, she's so consistent now that if she wants to bring back the largest handspring front that was ever done on a balance beam.
Yeah.
In how long has it been now? When were the 80s? Was it were the
80s were 40 years ago?
40 years ago. In 40 years.
When were the 80s? I should have said the answer to when were the 80s is the 80s. When were they? They're the 80s.
So yes, she could bring that back anytime.
Jordan really wants her to bring that back. I'm not so sure. I feel like it's more score smart. We're having a little bit of a fight about it. We had to lock ourselves in the office and close the blinds, and you just heard throwing things for a while about Jordan's beam composition, but we'll get to a good place.
Yeah. Obviously, Finnegan. Aaliyah Finnegan qualified to the Olympics at LSU. Duh. If you have a Finnegan, you put them on beam. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, those are the rules.
Yes.
Yeah. 5th up, Luisa Blanco at Alabama.
Yes. So
nothing to take. Talk about nothing to take. Leaps. Oh, perfect. Also qualified to the Olympics.
Yes. Miley O'Keefe from Utah.
is our anchor. She's got to be. She's got to be. She was getting a 10 like every week at the end of last season.
Every week. Yeah. Who is she near the all-time 10 record now? Just from beam? She doesn't need to get 10. She doesn't
have enough on the other events, but she has quite a few now. She's like Peng Li, where it's like, oh, you're really high from 2 events.
Yes, like it's
which
crazy.
She does more, but like most of her.
Yeah, Miley can do everything, obviously. Every time I think of Miley O'Keefe, I think about the story about how Riley was just warming up on floor and Miley did a double Arabian or a double layout over Riley because Riley like wasn't paying attention, just walked where Miley was tumbling and she just went right over her. Yeah. Anywho, Miley O'Keefe. Okay, if any of them can't go, who are you putting in the lineup?
Well, it really depends on who can't go. Like we have spot contributors for different spots in the lineup, depending. Like
the answer is Sienna Schreiber, Missouri.
She's right up there. Like if Reagan can't go in our leadoff, Sienna Schreiber's in.
Yes, that's the only right answer.
We also have like Emma Malabuyo is. We couldn't ask for more from her. In the training gym. We couldn't ask for more.
Carlton.
We just need to see a little bit more consistency from her, but if someone at that end of the lineup can't go, Emma Malabuyo is in.
Yes, agree. Some people just like to give us no strings attached money. They don't want to bother with joining Club Gym Nerd, and so they just donate. You can find our donate button for a no strings attached donation at the bottom of the club page at gymcastic.com/club.
Okay, so let's talk about our floor lineup.
All right.
Once again, this is our team, so art matters. We have an internal domestic bonus for emoting, as well as we have a 1980s level of corruption designed to benefit Brooklyn Moors. And that's just the way it goes.
Which is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can be corrupt as long as it's for Brooklyn Moors' favor. Those are the rules.
Yes, because everyone agrees with that. If rules don't favor Brooklyn Moors, the rules are wrong and therefore don't count. Shay Campbell, duh.
Leadoff. Yeah. Why is she our leadoff?
Because she always hits and she sets the example for like, this is how you art. Pay attention if other people don't art and dance this hard the whole routine. You can't half-ass your dance. Cardio is so you can dance full out during your floor routine. That's what your cardio training preseason is for. Shay Campbell, example. Yeah. There's no excuse for poor cardio. There's no excuse for bad conditioning.
She sets the energy example.
Yes.
For the whole team. So we're not starting subtle. We're starting with Shay Campbell. And she's saying, this is our floor lineup. And then we go second up with Andy Lee, who's just gonna we have a snake inspired floor routine for her this year planned, where she's just slithering around she's on the ground the whole time. There's all of her tumbling passes are rolls. It's just no handsprings because snakes don't have arms. She's just slithering along.
It's a slither routine to prove
and it's beautiful and it's perfect and there's not a deduction in sight.
Okay. She is so naturally gifted as a fantastic dancer,
she's so good she can do a front double full from snake position. That's how good at gymnastics she is. It's perfect for our lineup.
At no point do you think inchworm? No, always snake.
It's always a snake.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Skyla Schulte, Michigan State. Been talking about her since high school. She understands bringing and giving. She is giving 100% of the time in that routine. 100% of the time. She is the example. This is why more show business people should go into gymnastics, because Michigan State has a show business person and fixed the entire team. Suddenly we're like, Michigan State. Oh, look at them. Yeah.
Up fourth, this spot is up for grabs based on how training goes. Right now, it's Adeline Kenlin because her her Title IX floor routine last year, like Iowa always has great floor routines. I think she was the winner for me, but I'm very open to Karina Munoz at Iowa, who is like right there and has all like Shea Campbell level energy and commitment to her routine, or Jaquavia Henderson from Iowa. We're going to see that spot's going to be open. We're going to see who's really bringing it with the art the most, but it's a very tough category.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed, the way that our lineup goes is like energy dance.
Yeah.
Beauty. That makes you feel like you're levitating in your chair. Then energy dance.
Yeah.
Then this is why Adeline Kenlin fills this levitation.
I like this strategy.
Ethereal.
And then we just slam you with both at the end. Number 5, Jordan Bowers.
Yes. Where she is, she does her double pike. You in the seats that are off the ground and the judges all have to look up in the air and strain your neck to see how high she goes. And she does just assassin dance. Like there's a different theme every year, but the common theme every time she does floor is assassin floor. Whoa, I just knocked my drink over describing her floor.
God.
Yes,
the
because
professionalism standards have lapsed around here.
When you get so energetic about a Jordan Bowers that you knock things over. Okay, and then finally,
Jessica, who's anchoring our lineup?
The one and only Brooklyn Moores.
Yeah.
Who invented floor.
Yes. The Brooklyn Moores anchor spot goes to Brooklyn Moores.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Name the Brooklyn Moores scholarship. Brooklyn Moores anchor spot. Wearing the Brooklyn Moores leotard on the Brooklyn Moores carpet.
Is it UCLA that the name of the head coaching job is something like super long and is sponsored by someone? Like
no,
the JPM Swiddlehan McGee head coach of gymnastics or something just like insane, right? Like we just say head coach.
There is a school that has that. I mean, this is America. You can sell anything. Oh my God. It just annoys me when they want to make us call it that every single time.
I know.
And I'm like,
no,
if you want us to call it that, pay us. Pay us to call it that. I'm happy to call it the JP Morgan Suites of Dubai Emirates Cathay Air oil rig offshore Norway.
Yeah, basically.
Head coach.
That's what's happening.
Okay. If one of them can't make it, I am electing Hannah Scheibel, Oklahoma. Who are you electing?
I think I'm going to go with, well, I mentioned like we have some Iowas who I would also put in this lineup, some Michigan States, but yeah, I think Karina Munoz. I'm really like, she might break into the lineup. And so she's my next up.
Oh God, wait, it is UCLA that has the R.C. Rothman UCLA head gymnastics coach position endowment.
Janelle is an R.C. Rothman.
From Rita Rothman. Oh, you guys. I mean, however you need to get your endowments, but we won't be calling it that. Okay, I want to also nominate Aaliyah Finnegan for tumbling art.
Yeah.
Just tumbling art.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see her get like legit amazing choreography because I think she could do it. It's a little too smiley and, but her tumbling is art. It is beautiful. Her double Arabian. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we expect our listeners to make their own lists, to make their own suggestions, because we, unlike most college teams, like we as the Earth team, really do value the fans' input on what the lineup should be.
Yeah.
So, make your own, make your teams.
Gymternet news. So we have the WWE, which is the fake show wrestling thing in the United States. They have an NIL pipeline. So like they NIL you in your sport in college, and then you go to their training camp. And if you do well in their training system, like Cirque du Soleil has too, then you can go to the big show. So they have newly signed, like who did this last season? It was fake smiley. I won Miss America, Auburn.
Darion
Goburn went into their training system in Florida. So they've now signed Arkansas's Serena Linton. She was at Arizona before. And Michigan State artist who brings the energy, who's in our planetary lineup, Skylar Schulte. Yes. This is what I say to that. Yes. So there is a gymnast who made it to the big show, which I call it. I don't know what
the big show. Yeah,
her
sure.
big show, which is her wrestling name is, I don't like to call it wrestling, her WWE, because it's not wrestling, it's, show things. Also, you guys, I have upgraded my software on my computer, so now every time I move my hands, there's like bubbles and hearts, and I can't make a heart, but there's things popping up on my screen, except like I'm bad at all of this, so I can't make it happen when I want to. But anyway, the random thing just popped up on my screen. Anyway, what was I talking about? Her WWE name is Kalani Jordan, but you'll remember her as Leah Mitchell at Michigan State.
Now I know what you're talking about. You brought it back to gymnastics, and now I know what's happening again.
Yes, she has made it to the big show. So, all right, we have a 4-year headline, which you guys start. It's Olympic year next year.
Now we're getting there, yeah.
The 4-year headlines are starting. This is where we issue a yellow card to drive by gymnastics coverage. So the first one is from People magazine, who referred to Olympian Charlotte Drury as girlfriend of Lori Hernandez.
She didn't get
in the title
trampoline. She didn't
in the title. No trampoline, no gymnast, no athlete, no Olympian, fellow Olympian. No, Charlotte Drury, trampoline Olympian for the U.S. And she was one of the three. Charlotte Drury, Kyla Ross, and Michaela Maroney all started in the same Baby Hopes Superstar gymnastics class at the same gym together, lifelong friends. So yes, but anyway, so congratulations to Olympian Charlotte Drury and Olympian Lori Hernandez celebrating their 3-year anniversary.
I mean, my expectations are so low. I'm happy they didn't just refer to her as like Lori Hernandez's special work friend. Lori Hernandez and roommate Charlotte Drury celebrate.
Roommate.
Yeah.
They've been roommates for many years. Roommates who share the same bed. Oh my God. Yes. Also, I have to talk about this. Okay. You remember the gym in Nadia? Yes. The Nadia movie. Yes. The OG Nadia movie. And how like beautiful that gym was and how cool it was. That gym still exists. And there was just an adult gymnastics meet because this gym has adult classes. The British adult champions went to compete in this gym where the Nadia movie was filmed. This gym is in Croatia. It's part of the Sokol system, which is, if you've listened to all of our episodes, you know about the Sokol. They have long time imported competitive gymnastics to all around the world, still exists in the United States. It's the ZTD club established in 1874 in Zagreb, Croatia. You can go there to adult class. They have chandeliers.
The Oklahoma is like on trend.
This gym is
everything is chandeliers at you guys.
Beautiful. This is where Tin Srbic trained, world champion on high bar. It was the first gymnastics club in Croatia. It is just so gorgeous. I mean, it was like bombed, of course, during World War II, but they what is it called? Renovated it. Yes, and it's just the most. I just feel like this is a space that inspires. You walk into this gym, you're like, I want to point my toes as hard as I can possibly point my toes. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place for art, and I just, you guys can check it out. They ZTV Club Zagreb, Croatia, or club where the Nadia movie was filmed. Gabby Douglas on the socials. This is my what happened on social media this week.
Oh, good
section.
This is what Jessica does for me because I won't look at it.
He will not look, and I won't read any comments. I just look at the actual pictures and see what's going on. So Gabby Douglas, she I believe she owns a cattle ranch of some kind.
Okay.
And she, they had a baby cow, and she was, talking about what she should name it. And she had some pizza and cinnamon rolls with a friend. She had pictures of her lunch that were having lunch and talking shit. And I love that. She also posted a video of herself doing pull-ups to music slowly, where she just stopped halfway, held it for many beats, stopped halfway at her chin at the pull-up, and then pulled herself all the way, not a pullover, just pulled herself right up to a front support position from the holding the pull-up. Gabby Douglas still supernaturally strong. in case you're wondering. Already elite gymnast, now has her full woman strength, crazy ass strong.
I particularly appreciate you telling me that she ate lunch.
She ate lunch and talked. It was shit talking with her friend's lunch.
That was really important news. I'm so glad I have that information now. I can't believe I'm not on social media really anymore. I'm missing so much.
This is the stars. They're just like us. They have lunch to shit talk with their friends. You're welcome, Spencer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If this is what Gabby Douglas thinks is important to tell us about her life, I will be telling you about it, Spencer. And there's no escape. Gymnasts for Change have some beef with British Gymnastics. Continuing. They have said, this is according to ITV News, that Gymnasts for Change is calling for an immediate halt to British Gymnastics complaint process because they said it is not fit for purpose. Their claim is that not a single case that was heard as a result of the White review has led to a coach being banned or expelled. So the White review reviewed all these specific instances, and they came out with a scathing review of British Gymnastics, but not a single one of those cases has resulted in even in a coach banned or expelled. So they're like, this is for naught. Why are you even doing this? This needs to be halted and totally reevaluated. Yeah. Carly Dockendorf, we mentioned, is now the official head coach, not interim head coach of Utah. And then also, I wanted to mention this because I think people thought this changed something, but it doesn't change anything. The IOC confirms that Russian athletes can compete at the Paris Olympics with approved neutral status. So for us in gymnastics, this changes nothing. You guys are already up on the latest news because you listen to the show. This
and take notes, obviously,
and take notes and remember
everything. Yeah,
we say yes. So for gymnastics, the FIG already put out their approved neutral status process. The whole investigate, you have to submit your name. They have to investigate to see if you're really neutral, which we've established no current Russian elites that you know that have competed in any time outside of the country qualify for this. So they would not be able to compete. So this news changes nothing for gymnastics. They have to go through the application process. Also, some positive news. State court in Pennsylvania has upheld the firing of former Penn State gymnastics coach Jeff Thompson. He lost his bid in state superior court to challenge his 2017 firing by the university. Thompson filed a breach of contract suit against Penn State. But Penn State, even though it took a very long time, did fire Jeff Thompson. So another victory. If you guys have feedback for us, and I know you're going to have feedback about our teams,
I can imagine no possible response.
No. You can post it on the forum at gymcastic.com or email us, gymcastic@gmail.com. And if you need any help with your gift, buying a gift membership or a gift mini commission or a gift rage meter or a gift enthusiasm meter for someone in your life, remember, we will record a congratulations, welcome to Club Gym Nerd. You got a bubbly bub from someone, but you have to do it before like the 22nd of December. That's probably too late. Probably like that Wednesday, because then we turn our computers off and leave. We do not work for a whole week and a half-ish. So make sure if you're buying a gift membership, email us now with the information you want us to say and the little video for the person you're giving the gift to, and we will do it. Also, we have a season pass coming for our Club Gym Nerd members. So you are going to, and that means for the live shows. So you're going to be able to buy, only Club Gym Nerd members, a season pass to all of our live shows. And we're going to try to do 4 live shows. We're planning to do 4 live shows next year. Normally we only do 2. So NCAA's Olympic trials, one at the Olympics, it'll be a special virtual show. That's something we've never done before. We'll make it very special. And then one more live show. So for the year. So that, again, and basically you'll get a huge discount by buying the season pass. And why do we do this? Because the Olympic year comes with many more expenses. And it helps us to have money up front to pay for all of those things that are coming up in the Olympic year. So thank you guys so much for being Club Gym Nerd members. We appreciate you so much. And remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're traveling, especially over the holidays, remember to set us to automatically download on your podcast player, because we just had an incident where someone had a very long flight, thought they had downloaded manually behind the scenes to hear about all our upcoming plans and details about all the stuff that I've told you about, the season pass and the live shows and the fantasy leagues and all of that, but didn't have it downloaded, you guys. So automatically set us to download on your favorite podcast player. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. And thank you so much for supporting us. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you on Friday for Behind the Scenes at noon Pacific. Until then, remember to take off on gay, split on rights, and we'll see you on Friday for Behind the Scenes. Thanks for listening.
Do you want to know what goes on our extra podcast every week, or what some people call GymCastic OnlyFans? Here's a little teaser for you.
This leads me into my addition to the reasons to watch college gymnastics list. One Saturday afternoon during the 2022 season, there were 2 meets on that we were going to watch. One was Winter Cup, the other was a college meet. My grandma and I both turned on Winter Cup and were texting back and forth about it like we usually do while watching gymnastics meets. We were both complaining about the lack of gymnastics and making fun of all the ankle taping and water drinking that they were showing instead of actual gymnastics. At one point, my grandma texted me and asked what time the college meet was going to be on. She was asking because she thought Winter Cup was boring and the college meets were more exciting because they were always showing routines. I laughed so hard when I got that text. I remember an interview you once did with Tim Daggett in the very early days of the podcast, like the first day. Right?
The first episode.
The first day. Where he was saying that NBC always had to keep in mind that some grandmother who knows nothing about gymnastics might be tuning in for the first time. Well, here was my 90-year-old grandmother who didn't know much about gymnastics saying that what she actually wanted to see was more routines, not what NBC was showing. So there's another reason that people should watch college gymnastics. You want to see routine after routine without all the ankle taping? College gymnastics is the sport for you.
If you like what you heard, get more by joining Club Gymnert at gymcastic.com.
No, is that 2027? No, it's 2025?
2027. You had it right.
Okay.
Trust yourself. Trust your instincts.
Wait.
It's not 2937 like you wrote later.